friends, Kevin Christopher, Shane Fernandez here from Rockridge Venture Law. We're coming to you in our Plainspeak IP series. Plainspeak IP is where we break down venture, intellectual property, and privacy concepts into actionable items that you can implement into your business. Today, we're talking a little bit about startups and social media influencers. Shane, you're gonna be my instructor today.
Okay.
I've got a new business, very exciting business.
Okay.
All right, you've had tea before, right?
I have had tea before.
So have you had, kind of that sort of lemon verbena, green mint, kind
All
of
those
tea?
interesting flavors.
Yeah,
You can't beat that.
Yeah, actually you can. All right, so I've got a tea that's gonna knock everybody's socks off. It's gonna scale. It is a funnel cake tea.
They don't have that already?
They don't have that. I've got a whole collection of these teas.
Okay.
I've got funnel cake, I've got twice fried Snickers, I've got hot chicken tea. This is the kind of flavor that you want. You're gonna drink more tea. You're gonna drink tea all day long because
Right.
this stuff is awesome.
It's like a
tastes
meal
great.
replacement almost.
Exactly,
It
right.
sells itself.
Yeah, okay. So I need a little help getting this thing off the ground because I don't have any money, all right? But I've got somebody in mind. She's a social media influencer. She's awesome. I think if she threw a post out there about my tea, everybody's gonna be drinking it. And I've got her direct contact. So I'm thinking about reaching out to her and offering her a little stake in this company, okay? Because once she starts throwing some posts up about, heavenly mustard pretzel tea, everybody's gonna want this stuff, all right? And so we're gonna take off. Her stock is gonna go through the roof. She's gonna love it. And so I'm gonna reach out to her and ask her if she'll throw up a few posts in exchange for some equity.
So I'm not involved as an influencer, or is that when do I get involved as an influencer in this situation?
I'm not sure that you really understood the roles here. So you're the instructor.
Okay.
She's the social media influencer because you don't really have a following from what I recall, right? You're an attorney.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, is that okay? Can I approach her and ask her if she'll throw some posts up for me in exchange for some equity?
Well, it's possible. I mean, are you okay with dealing with some scary three-letter federal agencies? Strict regulation?
Depends on which agencies.
How about the CIA?
CIA?
Put that down. What about the NSA?
NSA? Yeah, I'm okay with them. They're fine.
Well, that's fine, because I'm just kidding. It's actually the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, and the SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission.
Federal Trade and SEC, Securities Exchange. I don't like the sound of that.
Yeah, not many of us do. So let's start here with the Securities Exchange Commission. So what you've tried to do is you're trying to give up equity in your company's stock, maybe some stock options, something like that. Well, those are securities under federal law. So you're trying to offer securities in exchange for services. Now, are you registered? Have you registered your securities with the SEC?
I told my mom about them.
Okay, so no. So in order to offer, to sell, or give securities, generally you need to register it or you need to have an exemption from registration.
Exemption. That sounds kind of formal. Let me write that down.
So it sounds like you're going to be more in the exemption point. And so there's a lot of different rules and regulations, Reg D, Rule 701, some rules that you can rely upon in order to sell or offer your securities to employees, to consultants, to social media influencers, and in exchange for equity or exchange for services. So generally, depending on one of these unique exemptions, you can offer them, but you have to provide certain disclosures depending on the rule, and which depends on the circumstances of the influencer, how much money they have, whether they're an accredited investor, their knowledge of securities and financial matters. So that's just one hurdle that you'd have to talk about.
Okay, so let me just get this straight. So what you're saying is I can't just DM KK and ask her, can you make my tasty tea skyrocket in exchange for a cut of the action? I can't just do that. I've got to find an exemption, and I got to file some stuff, and sounds like I got to work with an attorney.
Sounds like you got to work with an attorney. Good thing you know.
Okay. Well, maybe that was the worst news. Tell me a little bit about the FTC.
The FTC, so the FTC is traditionally, people think of the FTC, they think television, maybe some billboards, some radio, some old-fashioned stuff that no one's doing anymore, right? We're talking about social media, talk about Twitter. Your mom's on Twitter, everybody's on Twitter.
Yeah,
maybe some
probably so.
Instagram stories. So the FTC has actually gotten a lot more involved in social media because people are using social media to sell products. It's part of what's going on. So generally the FTC is worried about two things. One, they want you to probably disclose the fact that what someone, an influencer, saying about your product is, one, true, and two, that it's pretty apparent that you're actually paying them to make those statements. So those are going to be some hurdles you're going to have to deal with, and this has become an increasingly big issue with the FTC, and they've issued a bunch of letters out there to some influencers who are doing it improperly. And another thing you probably need to worry about with your influencer is the fact that they're an agent. So they're representing you, your company, your tea, your product. So the things that they say, the things that they do can have a negative impact on your brand from a legal perspective. So there's going to be some issues that you're going to have to deal with, and some of the big issues are disclosure-wise. So these influencers are going to need to make it clear at the very top of their posts that hashtag ad, hashtag sponsor. They need to make it clear that they are being paid to give these statements.
Okay, so I've got FTC, and that applies to influencers, and I've got SEC here, and that applies to startups. And let me just kind of maybe try and wrap my head around this here. So one, if I'm going directly to the influencer, then I need to think about SEC exemptions and how to properly do that. And then secondly, if my influencer is going to do this, then there's a requirement that she basically needs to say that she's being compensated, or that she's somehow getting some equity or a cut of the action. She can't just say, God, this is the best tea I've ever put in my body. She can't just say that?
She'll probably end up saying that, knowing your tea concoction, but yes, she has to disclose all of these things in regards to your tea.
Okay. Well, I think we've got a good, clear understanding of some of the different moving parts when dealing with trying to work with influencers to help grow your startup. You can learn more about this and other aspects of intellectual property, privacy, and venture law at rockridgelaw.com.